I still, I still can't believe I'm talking about GTA. Maybe this will be the last one. Who knows? Who fucking knows? But there's just one thing that I'm just thinking. People buy this game because of either the graphics or just because they wanted to play these games again or they never got a chance to, right? Or they just want to play it because the game's bad. Now, not bad as in, for crying out loud, bad games back in the day, some of them were at least finished. Right? The ones that were not finished were very obscure to find, to be honest. Like Big Rigs, first of all, you know? Games like that, basically. But then, it's like now every game is trying to be like Big Rigs. And somehow we have gamers that are like, yeah, let's get that. Yeah, let's buy that. Let's support that. That's not gamers. That's not gamers. You're supporting a broken product, basically. And you're telling these companies, yeah, thank you. Make more of this. And that's what they do. Hello? How do you think the Avengers movies work? Because they made money. That's why they're still making it. If you guys are tired of these superhero movies, then stop watching them. But people are not. I'm not tired of watching them. That's why they're making money. And that's why they haven't stopped. Remakes and superhero movies. They even sat there in GTA 5. None doesn't concern me. It's like, you know what? When you grow older, you start to feel like, maybe some will, but most of all, you just want to do your own shit. You know, you just want to find something else, or go back to the classics. Most people are like, oh, you're old and everything like that. Maybe I'm 28 years old, but that doesn't change the fact that these three games, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, no matter how you feel about these games, no matter how you feel about them, they defined the PlayStation 2. They helped what the that's what made the PlayStation 2. Of course, there were other games that made the PlayStation 2, but people point GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas in that list. If there's a top 100 PS2 games that changed the PS2, guarantee those games would be on that list. I'm not saying they'd be number one or number two, but guarantee you will be on that list. Okay? And it's something that a lot of people that buy these games just to see how, just to, go around with the glitches. I don't know where this fascination came from, where people just want to buy games just because it's glitchy as fuck and you want to see how glitchy it is, even though people know it's still bad and shit like that. Now, there's other people that will buy it because it's popular and it's just like, stop it. Oh, but it's new and all that. I'm like, it's like, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. They don't know better. They don't know better. They think they know better, but they don't. They don't. These are the type of people that if they had freedom, like 100% freedom, they will actually hurt somebody. I guarantee you. Like literally, if tomorrow, if there was like, oh, those no laws and all of that shit, I guarantee you will go out of your way to do something stupid. Instead of just thinking in your head, man. Why do you think they make these movies called The Purge? You know? But that's not an enlightenment thing. That's a truth fact thing. But if you want to talk about enlightenment, then there you go. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how GTA is. And you can tell where I live at. So, in these games, GTA 3 actually changed what GTA was. At first, it was just 2D, and no one didn't give a fuck. Remember that, Rockstar? Remember that? Remember when no one didn't give a fuck about GTA? And then GTA 3 came out? Then everyone gave a fuck about your product? Even back then, hold on for a minute. Even back then, they wanted to do Rockstar. They wanted to do like an online feature. Did they have this mindset back then? And then just kept growing and growing into like disgusting, greedy, corporate piece of shit? I don't know. Is that just me? So GTA 3 made everyone look at the PlayStation 2. See what the PlayStation 2 was actually capable of 3D, and other developers were looking at the same thing. So were other companies like Square Enix. Big companies were looking at it. Right? Then obviously Rockstar became what they were, basically. And then the next year Vice City happened, which over time I'm seeing mixed reactions with Vice City. With GTA 3, people would be like, it's just the GTA 3. You know? They understand how it was with gaming. With Vice City, it did. I'm not going to talk about how it is now, but back then, people loved it. It did have some problems. It did because it came out a year. Most games that come out from a year, they don't take time for like 2 or 3 years or something like that. It depends. It depends. It depends. But usually it's not good. 9 times out of 10, it's not good. Sometimes. You have to be really good company and a really good developer to do it. And at that time, Rockstar couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They couldn't. They couldn't. That's just me. But it was still a good game, basically with the story and everything like that. And it did branch off from what GTA 3 was. So it was still more archaic, which a lot of people liked. And now that kind of branched off a little bit. A little bit. But then we get to San Andreas. A lot of people say this is the best one. Some people say this is overrated or overrated because everyone always talks about it. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is just the combination of all the GTA games that Rockstar wanted to be, basically. Even the 2D ones, basically. Because when you play San Andreas, you do feel like you're playing the 2D versions, and in my perspective, I wish they kept the whole like, top down perspective. Here in GTA 3, you can press select and it can change the perspective of you going the original route of GTA 1 and 2. I love that. I love that part. I wish they kept that in the other GTA games, but whatever. That's just me. That was just me. Because that is how much at that time what they showed they cared. You know, with San Andreas, they showed how much they can actually put in a game as much as possible. Or how much things you could do, which is a positive and a negative to the game. To be honest, you have too many things that do stuff, but some of them don't really they really don't contribute to the game. Some of them, you just need to what, know your bullets, know how to drive, and that counts with the bicycle too. So driving, or riding, whatever, and running with stamina. So that's easy. And I'm sure there's more. Obviously, most people would be like, "Oh, the fat and skinny one," but that's a choice. To be honest, that's a player's choice. But the rest, like those three, to be honest, those are what I use in the game all the time. Not to say I don't use the other functions of the game. Oh yeah, I do. But every time I play San Andreas, that's how I feel. Like those are the functions you're mainly going to use, because you could call your brothers into a games and shit like that, you barely even use it. The game tells you can use it, but there's no incentive for you to use it. You could do it though, and it's fun as fuck if you do it. But the game doesn't like, you know, move you to it. It's not like when you're playing a collectathon, when you're talking to an NPC and the NPC is like, oh, collect 13 of these eggs or some shit like that, or 14 of these eggs. The progress of this. Then you'll be like, okay, I know my objective, I know what to do, and shit like that, and you go on further and collecting these eggs while you doing other shit. I don't know. That's just me. Something simple like that. Some people would be like, "Oh, but collectathon is so different than open world." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I get it, but it's okay to tell the player, hey, maybe you shouldn't go there." In RPGs, sometimes you tell players, usually in Dragon Quest, hey, maybe you shouldn't go to that area, and you'll be like, "I'm going to go to that area," and then usually you might die. uh, that's it's funny that some games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, they don't like say that. They'll be like, "Hey, go over there." Okay. That's what you get. Like in the beginning of the game for the to just trick the first player, when they first play it. That would be a some instead of the player learning when they do die. Just have an NPC that's just a dick to them, be like, "Hey, there's monsters over there. You want to train?" Like make them feel like they just got into a war that they're gonna be a hero and everything like that. Then all of a sudden they get killed and everything like that. And they'll be like, "That's fucked up." Then you come back to life and you just realize that this is just not that game. The game's just playing with you and fucking with you. Yo, man, games like that, man, you have to respect because the developers are just having fun out of their way just to do stuff like that for their games. And sometimes you see that in these GTA games. And the fact that you see the trilogy, and obviously it's not made out of love and care, obviously. I won't be surprised if the Ghost Street Company gets fired. And I looked at their post, like not their post, but like their page, and their banner on top of them has like them on it. And it's kind of, I want to say one thing. Look at their banner. I don't want to make fun of them. There's no hate to anybody on that team. I'm sure they're fine people. But you look at them on those pictures on that billboard of that page, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys. Only at least maybe one or two of you looks like you guys got laid and know about the franchise, and the rest of you don't know shit about the franchise. Sorry. When I heard about the Grove Street, studio and shit like that, I literally looked them up, and once I saw, people right in front of the fucking, you know, screen presenting themselves and shit like that, I'd be like, "Hey, we work here." I'm just like, "Oh," and looking at all of them, I'm like, I'm not the judgy type. I'm not, but I'm like, it makes sense, you guys are here. You know, it sounds bad, but when you look at it, you be like, somehow you deserve to be here, and yet you don't deserve to be here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me as a, I don't know, as a person. I just saw that and I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm not trying to judge people, but whatever. Someone will hate me for it, right? Some idiot, I guess. But moving on to GTA. The reason these games, the reason these games were so good, and people looked at the PS2 totally different. It totally looked at gaming different, especially when San Andreas came out. They were like, "Oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this," and we were like, "Holy shit! If this could happen, imagine the next GTA game, or imagine the next game that will look at this and just make it better." I looked at a video recently about again collectathons. I mean, it's funny that I mentioned collectathons earlier, but hey, it goes. But hey, it goes in circles. But I was watching a video about collectathons, and they were saying that is collectathons dead, and they're not. They're not dead. They just became. They evolved actually. They evolved more in usually sometimes more in RPGs, sometimes in Grand Theft Auto games like Grand Theft Auto 3 and other Grand Theft Auto games where you could just collect something and then you get something out of it. You know, like having all your weapons in your house and shit like that. For example, when you collect all the packages in GTA 3, you know, stuff like that. When people saw that, stuff like that. For example, evolved gaming. You know, for example, and some people didn't pay attention about that. Some people have, but some people don't really think about it all that much. Mainly because it's some of us were kids back then, but looking at this now, almost in our 30s or in the late 20s, it's like these games changed and defined what we see right now with the PlayStation 5 and 4 and 3. Not to say the PlayStation 1 didn't do anything. The PlayStation 1 did fantastic work for Sony and for all those companies that were involved with the PlayStation. In my opinion, PlayStation hands down can never be outmatched. PlayStation 2, it's in its own category. PlayStation 3, 4, and 5, I'm sorry, they're like their series basically, their own series. Don't get me wrong. I love the PlayStation 3. I have so many memories with the PlayStation 3. It's ridiculous. I cherish more my memories with the PlayStation 3 than the PS4. I don't hate my PS4, but the memories. You could say that mainly because I was still like still young, a kid when this PlayStation came out. I still have my PlayStation 3, the original PlayStation 3 that I got, the first one that I got, and it's not the first model. It's like the second model, but it's lasted all these years, and I took care of it. It's beautiful, man. It's right there. Look at her. She's right there, just sitting there. She's asleep right now. Right, you know how the duck is on there. My Wii's there, and my Super Nintendo's there. And most people are like, "What game you got in your Super Nintendo?" It is fine. I mean, not Final Fantasy. Oh my god, someone's going to kill me. It is Dragon Quest V. Hands of the Heavenly Bride. I love that game. If you haven't played that game, you should. It's one of the best Dragon Quest games of all time, in my opinion. It's just most people are like, "Oh, I really don't get it because the monsters, you don't connect them and all that." Which you can still talk to monsters; they do talk to you, but not like a lot, a lot. They have their own catchphrases and all that. They don't say like what's happening with the story, but they do talk. But other than that, I did got connection with the monsters and all that. But moving on, that's another story for another day with Dragon Quest V. I probably should do another video about Dragon Quest V because mwah, I just mwah. you know. Uh, so look at that. They actually put Dragon Quest V on the PlayStation 2 also. And those graphics look beautiful, to be honest. They still look beautiful to this day, and I would love to have that game. It just only came out in Japan. But moving on, there's so many things with the PS2 that has changed a lot. And me and my friend a long time ago, oh well, actually not a long time ago, a while ago, we were just talking about how gaming is not what it was when we were younger. And most people are like, "Oh, you're just getting older and everything like that." I'm like, no, look at it. Look at it. People that first got into gaming in the 70s, they were probably kids. Now more adults now, or some of them were born in the 80s. Now adults now, they see this shit and they're like, and they look. And some of the 90s kids are like dumbfounded. Not all of them are, but some of them are. And I'm just like, you grew up in the 90s. You should be better than this. What 90? Is it late 90s? Because if it is, maybe I'll get it, but still, come on. Because if it's early 90s, that's stupid. In my opinion. Because gaming was on fire in the 90s. Are you kidding me? 92, the Super Nintendo was out. I was born in 93. I was in the perfect limelight, man. Yeah, the wrestling was amazing. Don't get me talking about wrestling. Don't get me talking about that. Oh my god, I start crying. The thing is, oh man, look, I could stamp on that because that's another enlightenment part that I could be like, there's a reason why everything was so good back then. But I'm gonna talk about it here, but yeah. So these games, in my opinion, like Dragon Quest V for the PlayStation 2, all, sorry guys, the GTA trilogy. Couldn't allow without the GTA trilogy, we wouldn't have GTA Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories. And to be honest, both of those games kind of benefit from all three of those games, in my opinion. Just in my opinion. Yes, Liberty City could have like Liberty San Andreas. Well, Liberty City came out after San Andreas, so you would think it would have a lot of better things and all that, but it was kind of like a step back and stuff like that with the controls because you couldn't duck and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what? But moving on, that doesn't matter. What matters is that those games still made gaming fun, and it just added more to what Rockstar was cooking up back in PlayStation 2 era. For crying out loud, we got Red Dead Revolver in that era. You know, I haven't played that game. One time I tried to play that game, the game just literally crashed. I'm just like, good that my system didn't, but the game just died, and I'm like, the one time I get the game, and the thing is, I was going to get the game too, because it's on the PlayStation Network. Sorry about that, guys. It was on the PlayStation Network, but I'm good. I'll probably find it somewhere eventually on a CD. So it does look fun though. I know this video went way too long the way it is. Yeah, 22 minutes. Good lord. I'm sorry, guys. But the fact of the matter is, these games have changed a lot. It did. It changed a lot. And some people just think it's a game. And it's not a game. It never was supposed to be a game. It is a game. It is a video game. But people think that, oh, you should take advantage of something that was actually pretty unique and really changed for crying out loud. Without these games, there won't be some of these games that are out here that are actually mimicking it. Look at Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 went to the GTA era in the PS2 era. And it hasn't went back since. And people want to oh my god, like, how come I feel like if there was a buggy Spider-Man game, people would be outraged more of that, especially the people that just hop on the GTA glitchy, oh, let's hop on this shit. I'm like, what's wrong with you people? Do you have a brain cell in your brain? That's what really bothers me. But hey, you know what? I'm not dumb, so it doesn't even matter. I could just let go of that shit, so. For real. Not my problem. We all know what happens in the jungle when animals are like that. Just saying. Just saying. Just because it happens in the wire doesn't mean it doesn't happen in real life. Uh, I'm not talking about survival of the fittest, people. I'm talking about knowledge here. So, the more knowledge you know, the better. Literally, that's how you survive. Literally. So, if you don't, then you're just not gonna know. You're not gonna survive. Sorry, that's how it is. I'm sorry, guys. I went to a tangent there, but I know some of you guys don't mind that. But the the trilogy just represents the for the PlayStation 4 one and 5, it just represents what if you put the trilogy from the PS2 era and the trilogy from the PS4 era, it's night and day. The company itself just told you, hey, we're not the same anymore, so isn't gaming, so fuck off. Even the creators left. Again, for enlightenment video. Even though I already know, I don't even have to talk about that because I already talked about it in another video, so I don't have to talk about it. But still, they left. They left. So this is the future of gaming. Buying piss poor games that are not even creative. There are some games that are, but some games are being pushed and being as an icon, like, yes, this is what gaming should be, unfinished product for the consumers, so they can make memes about it, so they can rant about it. That's where the real money is. It's literally. Have you watched the Angry Video Game Nerd movie? Has anyone watched that movie? You know the part where the lady literally is like, "Oh no, we don't make it good. We make it even worse." That it's like the Angry Video Game Nerd movie predicted what's happening with gaming. And as a person that's spiritually in tune with himself, James Ralph, we have a lot of explaining to fucking do. But as a gamer, that shit's wow. You know? That's something to think about. That's something to think about. That's really that's just me. That's just me. There's no reason. Literally, this trilogy should have been easy money for you guys. And to be honest, some people might be like, "Oh, it was." Was it though? Was it? No, seriously, was it? They pulled out the original trilogy and they put in this crap. It's almost like not really, but it's almost like they went to your house, grabbed your game, smacked you, and replaced you with these ones. Like they didn't, but almost felt like it with just the PlayStation, like itself. I'm like, oh, thanks. Like you have your PlayStation, you'll be like, oh, okay, thank you, thanks for carrying. I don't know, man. I don't know if 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 that's the market, if that's what you guys want, then you guys are going to kill gaming yourselves. And there are videos out there that people have said, "Hey, all gamers killing gaming." And the thing is, gamers are not killing gaming. It's the people that think that are gamers that are killing gaming. And the thing is, we've talked about this, and people have seen this for a long fucking time. Even before YouTube got fucked up. Okay? And I mean fucked up. And I'm not talking about spiritual enlightenment way. I'm talking about like in a product way, like you go to the website and shit like that. You know? So and back then YouTube was primitive. Remember the good old days when YouTube. You went to a YouTube page and they literally had their own custom design and everything, like literally MySpace. And back in that era, that was the PlayStation 2 era. Well, gaming was hot as fuck still. Some people say gaming is still hot. I know, it is. It's just, look at those games. And the thing is, I've told my friend before, all the PlayStation 4 is going to be known by is just going to be known as the system of remakes, reboots, and other side games, or in sequels. They're all like new game stuff. They're all new franchises from the PlayStation 4. Yeah, there is. But sometimes, you know how, I don't know, I'm usually that gamer that kind of feels like, some franchise that's on the PlayStation 1 that has never came back from the PlayStation 2, 3, or 4, and you look at it like, thank you. Thank you. Even though it made money. I'm not talking about the ones that didn't make money. I'm talking about the ones that did make money. That's the fucked up part. That's the most fucked up part. Because it's like, oh, okay, where do we go next then? Imagine what that happened to GTA. We wouldn't be having this conversation. It probably would have been happening to another game. And for some reason, my mind is just telling me what happened to a Square Enix game. I do not know why. I'm just picking on Square Enix at this point. I don't know. I don't know why. I think something inside of me just tells me, hey, you know what? Fuck them. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Shit. Not now. Jeez, I'm not even doing it. They're probably just standing there right now, like not even doing anything. And I'm just telling them to fuck off. But still, fuck off. But this trilogy and the gamers that have bought it, I'm not, look. If you bought it, I'm not gonna criticize you or anything like that. I just want to say that they looking at that and they're like, cool, we can keep doing this. Let's do it to GTA 4. I don't want to get into a tangent of how much I love GTA 4, but all I have to say is this to the haters that hate GTA 4. You hate a story that there's a man that went to war, saw some shit in war, and he's done shit when he was younger, like in your 20s type shit. And he carried that in his 30s. That anger, that depression, that hate. That's why when you rampage in GTA 4, listen to what he says. Some people don't like some people like Nico, but they hate the part when he actually says, I'll rip your fucking head off. Me, when I heard that, I started dying my ass off. Because that's exactly what I thought he was saying. That's exactly, that's the mindset he has, guys. He's seen shit. You acting like, oh, that doesn't belong in gaming. Fuck you. It's a story. That's the same shit when people were like, oh, get rid of the sex mod and shit like that. Look, I get it. For PC, look, I get it for console. For PC though, come on, really? For PC, really? It's on PC. Just put it AO. It's people will buy it anyways because it's on PC. Console, I understand. For PC, come on. Oh, but people will see it. Well, whose fault is that? Who saw it? You did. People need to take responsibility of their own actions, motherfuckers. I'm sorry, even if you're all kid or an adult. Your kid watched it? Oh, where's your parent? You should not be a parent and be like, oh, my kid saw that. Yeah, whose fault is that? You. You weren't watching your kid, and you want people to take actions to watch your kid while you go around sleeping with other men. It's funny that I mentioned women because it's always the women that want to protect the children. I understand that, but damn, damn. And no, no, and some of you men too. You're not angels either. So I know this video went too long the way it is, but I just want to get more of my thoughts out there of like, and I think I should be done. There was another thing I was thinking about, but I can't think about that right now. I don't know what it was. Trying to think about it. I know it was about GT. All right, GTA 4 is look. The thing is, all those GTA games, including San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3, and obviously the other GTA games like Liberty City, Stories, and Vice City Stories. Those games paved the way to GTA 4. And the reason I say about the they should have left the whole hot coffee thing is because one of the founders of Rockstar, I believe, are the creators of Rockstar, or one of the creators of the GTA games, said that it's like movies. If you don't push the boundaries, what are you doing? And I'm like, thank you. It's another form of of media that you can do, like anime. That's when people look at anime and they'll be like, "Oh, that's kid shit," and then when they see blood, they'll be like, "Why do you watch that shit?" And I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" If I watch it, it's a kid. If I if I watch it, it's kid shit. But if it has blood, it's disgusting to you. What the fuck do you want? What kind of mindset is that shit? That's a type of mindset that I